Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is your tarot reading for the week ahead. First off, happy Christmas and a Merry New Year. Um, Guard against expectations this week. How you expect things to be and how they actually are may be the things that lead to a sense of disappointment. We have the Lord of Despair, the Nine of Swords here, representing that. Doesn't mean that that's a reality, that the week is actually going to be filled with despair. Cheery, I know, full of festive cheer, am I? But it's, are we dreading that auntie that's coming and we're thinking, oh God, it's going to be terrible? Or are we, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be the best thing ever. Often when expectation doesn't meet up with reality, that is where our kind of frustrations come. This isn't doom and gloom. I'm not being a doomsayer by any means, but it's just, this is the way to temper, as I say, though, that kind of gap, that dissonance between how we hope things are and how they are in reality. Doesn't mean that things aren't going to be pleasurable, aren't going to be good, but we're going to try and force it in a certain direction that we want it to go. And the more that we try and force something, as we well know in life, the less likely it is to happen. So ultimately, it really is going with the flow. You've got the Knight of Wands in the opening of your reading. The Knight of Wands is full of gung-ho, full of excitement, full of motivation, I can't wait. It's this real gung-ho energy. May also indicate travel, whether that's close travel or distance travel, but don't allow that motivation, that excitement, that fiery energy to be dashed. Particularly, we've got the 10 of Wands here, the Lord of Oppression. So don't try and take on too much too soon. You know, you don't have to do everything all at once at Christmas. It's really important, particularly because we've got the Hierophant, to look at the values of Christmas or the festive break or this particular time of the year. What does it do for me? What does it represent beyond, presents, running around, having to do lots and lots of things? Because again, we might miss the enjoyment, we might miss the pleasure that can naturally arise because we're trying to do everything, we're trying to try please everyone, we're trying to carry too much forward simultaneously that we forget to take stock and actually enjoy and pleasure. You remember, people would much rather you be happy, be content, be joyous than lots of presents under the tree, or that it's got to be a quote unquote perfect scenario or perfect Christmas. So just allow things to kind of to fold naturally. It was weird. I was going to say unnaturally fold. Maybe it may at times feel unnatural. Again, Aries, sometimes you want a plan. You want to see it through. You want to be like, right, this is the way that things are going to run. And I would slightly say, try and cultivate the opposite. Just go with the flow. Allow, yes, be excited. Yes, be full of enthusiasm, but don't try and wrench it in a direction that you feel that it needs to go. But it's lovely. It's really nice to see this Hierophant. The Hierophant is the spiritual leader. Whether it is about, again, it doesn't have to fall into any religious canon, but make sure that it is a spiritual time as much as it is a time of relaxation and rest and present giving and festivities and all of those things. It may be the obvious point, but Christmas or the festive break is meant to be a spiritual holiday. So this is what we need to make it first and foremost. So it's a time of reflection. Maybe you feel called to do some sort of ritual. Maybe you're called to do some sort of ceremony. Yes, that can be in the religious canon if you want it to be, but it could just be your own practice too. It doesn't have to fall under any particular form. And again, a slight reminder with the world card here, you've got achievements, accomplishments, and satisfaction. Sorry, my dog is trying to chew a pencil, so I'm having to stop it. Fairfax, drop, leave. And there's a pencil on the floor which he thinks he can chew. So you've got the good boy. You've got the world card here, which is about accomplishments, things being wrapped up, things being. It almost looks like, hilariously, this Christmas wreath, which is in the background. I don't quite know the symbology of a Christmas wreath. I think I should. Fairfax leave. But laurels are obviously a representation of success. That's why the Olympiads used to wear them at the end of the race. So this year may have felt at times a bit of a race, that you were kind of having to move into the end, but there's lots to be thankful for. And one of the main questions I think to be asking yourself this week is, how do I bring more balance, particularly within 2026? It's like, because you see with the world card, the figure in the world card carries these two batons in perfect balance, in perfect equilibrium. And it's that's something to reflect on. It's like, have I allowed anything within my life to fall out of balance? The obvious one being work-life balance, but that could be in relationships, it could be in any aspect. Again, how has my material world, as represented with the 10 of Wands, the Lord of Oppression, come out of balance with my spiritual world, with the Hierophant? The obviously, for those that are celebrating kind of Christmas, or what that represents is, it was the birth of Jesus. So it was the birth of a spiritual leader, someone that was teaching us about compassion, about how to live a spiritual life. So where is your spiritual leadership coming from? Again, that doesn't have to be in Christianity by any means, but it's just, where am I finding that I'm getting that spiritual nourishment from? But do with the world, do give yourself a big pat on the back. Don't enter the next year as the Nine of Swords. You've kind of got this ladder in the background of all the rungs that we still have to climb, all the challenges that we still have to overcome. Really don't look at life as a to-do list, rather look at it as a to-da list. All of those things that you have accomplished, give yourself a big pat on the back, as I keep saying. Recognize the talents, the things that you've managed to cultivate. It may be worthwhile just pulling out your calendar of 2024. I think I've even said 2026 earlier. 2024. I would have a look at, pull out your diary and just have a bit of a stock check of all the things that you have done that you should be proud of, really. Again, there can be so much focus around new beginnings, new chapters, what's coming up next, that we sometimes forget to give ourselves the big pat on the back. So just to kind of summarize, do be excited, do look forward to it. It's probably a very well-earned break, but just guard against, watch against assumptions. It's often, as one of the 5 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, one of the big ones is, don't make assumptions. So that's an important thing. Are you assuming that how things are going to plan out? Are you trying to take control of the reins too much? What would it look like if you just surrendered and go with the flow? And what would it look like if you didn't let things bother you? Very often spending time with family, with parents, all of those things can bring things up. Usually that's coming about because we want to make it amazing. We want to make it great. So can you just be a kind of actually a peacekeeper? Again, this is why in parts this might feel a bit unnatural at times, because the natural place for you to fall is in the leadership role and trying to bring things forward. So what would it look like if you were in the passenger seat rather than the driving seat for a while? Just a question to ponder on. And this big question as well, where is the balance or lack of balance within my life, and what am I going to do in 2025 to redress that balance? Because with the World card being the final card of all the major arcana, it is really going to feel like a wrap-up of the year, and a wrap-up of projects, of kind of periods within your life, be it in work, be it in social, personal development, be it in relationships. So there'll be new starts, but it's important that we don't kind of dread some of those. So just be excited, but don't make assumptions, if I had to sum it up. Well, I hope that helps. As ever, be sure to check out your rising sign and your moon sign, or your sun sign, if you haven't done already, for a fully rounded reading. But from me to you, have a wonderful, wonderful festive break and an even better New Year's celebration. And I shall see you, I think, in 2020. Sorry, I'm just checking my calendar. No, we'll just see each other in 2025 in the new year. But until then, thanks so much. Bye for now.